Silver Society.
Welcome to the Silver Eye Society, the podcast where we look at film to find the ancient themes behind our modern issues. And boy, do we have many issues.
I got modern issues. I got modern issues. I got pre-modern issues. I've got ancient issues. I have postmodern issues. And I am here, Justin A.W. Blair, on the Silver Eye Society podcast to give you the word of the podcast. Are you ready for the word of the podcast? Oh, did I cut your introduction too short?
What are we talking about? Would you like to introduce the actual episode then, I guess?
Sure. We're talking about the Oscars, known as the Academy Awards. Is that right? Are they called the Academy Awards?
I guess it is.
Okay. We're talking about that. This is what we do because this is about relevant film.
And in this case, we're going to give our hot takes on something that neither of us watched.
Well, you kind of spoiled the joke that could have come up a little bit later. But yeah, I did not watch it.
I'm going to watch the whole thing. People are going to watch the whole episode and then halfway through it be like, oh, by the way, we didn't watch the thing we're talking about.
Everyone just turned it off. Word of the podcast.
No, they're intrigued.
Are they?
See, that's the difference between normie minds and Silver Eye Society minds, because they understand that when we say we're going to talk about the Oscars that we didn't watch, they know that that's a power move. They know that there's a plan. There's a philosophy behind that. This is high level shit. So strap yourselves in for this journey into the unknown.
And in order to wear the safety restraint through this journey in your mind, we will go to the word of the podcast. Am I right?
Yes.
Thank you. The word of the podcast this episode is Oscar.
Oh, because of the Oscars.
Yeah. Do you want to take a guess about what it means?
I don't know. I don't know what it could mean.
God's spear.
Oh my God.
This is news to me right now. I didn't know this.
So that's what they're doing over there. The wonders never cease when it comes to Hollywood's beliefs about themselves. They are awarding themselves God's spear. Great. Good to know.
Old English, Oscar, God's spear. From gar, spear. AS, God, only in personal names. And then we have to go back to see the Norse gods, the Aesir, to understand that. Collective name for are we stumbling into some Alex Jones shit here on through the word of the podcast?
As usual.
What's going on here? Why is Oscar? Why does that mean God's spirit? No one knows. Word of the podcast. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed the Oscars, which I did not watch.
Yeah, well, it's for the gods. It's not for us mere mortals to watch, apparently. This is how can we as mere mortals watch the awarding of God's spear? That is
we
so
can't
haughty.
attend.
No,
we cannot attend. Now that's just the etymology of the name Oscar. I don't think that it's not
but
made
why
up.
would they call it that?
Well, there was trivia there. Did you want me to read the trivia behind that? I mean, it's kind of boring. The statuette awarded for excellence in film acting, directing, etc. Yeah, etc. for sure. Given annually since 1928, was first so called in 1936. So apparently there was several years when it wasn't called the Oscars. The common explanation of the name is that it sprang from a 1931 remark by Margaret Herrick, secretary at Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, on seeing the statuette, quote, "He reminds me of my Uncle Oscar." Thus, the award would be named for Oscar Pierce, U.S. wheat farmer and fruit grower.
Well, that's a little more humble.
Yeah, sure. No, I just wanted to take us into the old Norse etymology right off the bat. But Oscar, that's what that means. God's spear.
I don't even know how to feel about that, because on the one hand, I like the agrarian roots to, and the, the very kind of like familial oriented naming, but
Yeah.
on the other hand, I don't like the secret, the original terminology, because that seems too grandiose for them to be up there passing around God's spear.
So this is the thing. I think if there's one thing, it's that we're honest with our audience. We are recording rather late at night, the night after the Academy Awards. I like to refer to it as the Academy Awards. I feel like that seems more...
less embarrassing. The Oscars
Is it different
silly.
though? Because aren't there two of these generic... There are two movie awards, right? But there's two main ones.
There's the TV ones, the Emmys,
no, that's
right?
Not. Right, but no, who cares? Isn't there two?
Yeah. There's the Grammys for music.
Okay, that's a different
with the
thing.
Grammys? Yeah. They haven't done those yet. They give it themselves lots of awards. Okay, so we don't know. Just who cares?
My question to you, co-host Salome Siboney, is: did you watch the Oscars?
No.
Okay, then why didn't you? And when is the last time you watched?
I didn't even know it was happening. First of all, I didn't even know until I saw that everybody was posting about it. I was like, oh, it's the Oscars. And I live in Hollywood. I'm not ashamed to say it. And so I did notice that there seemed to be a lot of parties going on in this area. And I realized then, people are having gatherings to watch the Oscars. I was not. And
you were not invited to any of these parties.
I wasn't either. I wasn't even invited, so that I can't.
I wasn't either. It makes you feel any better.
Yeah. Well, no, not at all, actually. So no, I didn't watch it, and then I decided not to watch it anyway, because it's like, what am I gonna do? Rush home and be like, the Oscars, whatever. All I needed to know was the Will Smith incident. That's enough. That ruined the Oscars for every person that attended, because no one cares about anything else except that part. So if you got to win an award at the Oscars this year, sorry, no one cares, because
apparently he won an award.
He did, after he assaulted Chris Rock.
Right.
He got to get up and give a speech about helping people and being a good person or whatever. Probably like, I don't know, climate change or something. They like to get up there and display morality.
So my question is, are you aware, since we do a podcast that is at least somewhat based around movies, our concept is evolving. Do you know any movies that were released? This is going to be a short episode, but I really wanted to get to this, which is that I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know any movies that were released last year that have been nominated for an Oscar. Do you?
No, I only know the name of one because I got like some things in the mail about it called Year of the Dog or something. That's the one that was awarded or like nominated or something. I didn't see the movie. I don't know if it's good. Probably not going to see it because I don't really watch anything that comes out new unless A24 makes it. And
so what does this say? This is a real, because I expect this for myself, and I think you expect that from me, and viewers expect that from me, that I would have I'm cut off basically from the wider culture in a lot of ways. But I don't think people would expect that from you as much.
I used to watch the Oscars. I used to watch the awards shows, not like fully watch them. I used to just kind of keep up with them and comment and know if something was awarded or whatever. Now I don't, and part of the reason is that I think that the whole ceremony has become really insufferable in many ways. Like, these ceremonies used to at least be kind of entertaining. Like, they'd have the host or whatever be like someone funny, and they'd do something, or they'd talk about, film or like the history of some director or whatever, some award, they do the thing where everybody that died. That's nice. It's like, sentimental. But like more and more, it's kind of these like pandering and political and like, oh, we're going to show you our politics. And then it's like, I'm not going to be condescended to about, morality and whatever by a bunch of rich people in like ugly dresses. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, it's a party for very rich, mentally stunted adults. And so not all of them. Some of the people there really deserve their recognition and they're talented and whatever. But for the most part, Hollywood isn't the brightest, most upstanding citizens we have. Like, and I'm not interested in being, morally like shamed and whatever. Like, I don't think those things should be mixed. It's kind of insufferable.
So let's do a little test, and then we'll move in towards the latter segments of this very short episode. An episode that in length, I think, says something about how much we care. I'm just going to read you some names. Okay, I want you to tell me if you have any recognition of these.
Oh, I can't wait.
Coda.
No, I know that that's a movie only because I started seeing people be like talking shit about that it was not given attention enough or whatever.
Well, it won, so good.
Oh, well, that's attention, so.
So Don't Look Up, which we actually know. We covered this on the podcast. So there's something. There's
we did.
A lifeline
and that was
to
the
reality.
one time that we were like, we don't normally do this. So
right. Dune, which is Dune.
They made that. No, we have rejected that.
One of the most boring science fiction books ever written. Extraordinarily overrated. I'm a man who finishes books, and I got through half of it. A movie called Belfast. Don't know about that. West Side Story. It's already a thing,
terrible.
Isn't it?
Yeah,
isn't that already a thing?
Yeah, it is.
So what they do, remake it?
They remade it, yeah.
So the remake has been nominated for Best Picture and failed. Okay.
Yeah.
Licorice Pizza.
That sounds like I wouldn't like that at all.
Now, I actually think I heard something about that because it has my understanding. Let me check this before I say this, actually.
That just kind of sounds like some like trying to be quirky thing. I don't know.
Yeah, it does. But it's actually written by Paul Thomas Anderson, who we both like.
What did he do? Was it?
Well, he does. There Will Be Blood.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I mean, that's actually his main movie. Well, no, he also did Magnolia, didn't he?
Was it him?
We're really just making an episode where we betray how ignorant we are about film, which says, our podcast isn't exactly
a film podcast, though. That's
it's not a film podcast.
It's not, and we're proving that now. It's a podcast about the stories. It's a podcast about stories, and the film aspect, other people can handle that. So what's the deal here? Licorice Pizza. What's going on? Are we gonna?
I vaguely heard something about it because it's like an underage boy who has a romantic relationship with a woman who is not underage. She's not super old either. She's like 25 or something. But anyway.
I don't know about that. I don't think we need any more. Is that what we need?
I don't know.
Is that where the stories lie? Is that where we're going to get some ancient themes to solve our modern problems? I don't know if that story is going to.
I don't think it is. So King Richard, which is the thing I guess Will Smith was in, where he won Best Actor. I never heard of it until he punched that guy or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Nightmare Alley, never heard of it.
No.
Drive My Car, never heard of it.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a dog near me that's like choking or something. So if there's noises, it's not me gagging about how bad the Oscars is.
Do you need to deal with that?
No, he just has a cough. It's okay.
Okay, great.
He's fine now.
And then we won't go through all this because it's pointless. But
yeah, this is already boring me. Like
I know, but there's a point to this, which is that
make it. I'm gonna punch something. I'm gonna pull a Will Smith.
The problem is that there is some amount of the population, you and I being a part of this population, which is almost entirely disconnected from the cultural output of Hollywood. Now that, if what I'm saying is true, even for me, this is the first time in my life that that's true to this extent.
That you're disconnected?
Yeah, I didn't know any of those.
It is for me. It is for me. I for sure, and I'm been more connected because I'm also younger, and I'm a female, so I tend to be like, I'm in the demo that cares more about this kind of shit, like, oh, what celebrity is going on and whatever, and it's like into contemporary things or whatever. But I'm really not. Like, I am in the mode of, I need to watch like a Kurosawa movie, or like I want to watch a 2-hour black and white Bergman film. Like, I'd rather go back in time than see contemporary things, because I truly feel, and whatever, condemn me as like a snob or whatever it may be. But this dog he's truly disgusted with the Oscars. Like, the sounds that he is making is, I feel how much of us feel about contemporary culture now, which is, it's not for us. There's something about it that's like, it's for us. It's for a certain subculture of people. I don't know. I don't exactly.
You see how like devastating this could be if it's true, right? I'm serious. Like that.
Well, remember that our culture has never been more fractured, and you've put forth the idea that social media like is just going to split off into like your different echo chambers. So as Twitter continues to censor everything and YouTube continues to remove, like this, today I read they removed a bunch of things from Chris Hedges' work, which is a journalist, not necessarily an entirely controversial, or like, he's a leftist, isn't he? Like,
he worked like for RT though. So he worked for Russian television. He's fairly critical
of Putin. So it's
I don't know. I stopped paying attention to him 10 years ago, even though he wrote a really great book that I read a long time ago. I was in New York City, and it was called something like how war gives meaning to life, or something like that. And I was like, okay, this seems up my alley.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
I was laying on a floor, of course, even 20 years ago, and reading that book. And I don't know a lot about his thinking in the last 10 years or something, but he's not an idiot. And now I do know that he worked for RT, and that became a big controversy and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know if this thing you're talking about, if it was just his RT stuff that got removed, or if they somehow removed him.
I believe it was, but that's also like, that's kind of like what's going on now.
Well, what is going on? And this, let's keep it focused on the Oscars though, because we could go off into all these.
Okay, so let me make the point, right?
Yes.
It's that your point that you have said before, as the circle of what gets censored keeps expanding. It's that we're just going to end up with a fractured social media landscape where I have my version of YouTube and you have yours, and I have my version of Twitter and whatever. So it's like, wouldn't that eventually become culture too? Wouldn't that eventually be like all these movies when Amy Schumer gets up and is like, I can't talk about anything that has to do with black people or black culture because I'm a white. Like, that's one of the skits that was done. And it's just like, I'd rather remove my fingernails forcibly than watch that. Like, watch someone like... I don't even know who
Amy Schumer is. I've heard the name.
Comedian.
She's
like
a comedian.
An embarrassingly bad comedian. And, there's also something that bothers me with that whole dynamic. As soon as these awards shows started getting more political, like in this kind of overt, and it's not to say that they weren't always political. There was like, different instances of this kind of political stuff, but it wasn't so like, there's something different about it now that rubs me the wrong way. Cause it's almost as if you're being educated as the viewer. There's a tone, there's a difference. Like, there's also a lack of stakes, right? Like, that's the thing, because the performance of these, like, oh, here's the good position. Who's going to contradict you? Like, no one there is going to contradict you. And the Will Smith thing showed exactly that. You have something egregious happen. I think it's wrong to, fight, to attack comedians during their set over a joke that's not even that serious. I think that's wrong. That's my bold stance.
Is Will Smith in the Taliban? Just asking the question.
Well, he can do whatever he wants at this point.
Is he in the Taliban? Is Will Smith in the Taliban?
He doesn't have a beard, so he can't.
Okay, go ahead.
I just received notice that the Taliban is banning any government employee. They're being fired if they don't have a beard. which I support. I think that's
I actually think that is, I mean, they're pretty into beards.
Yeah, and I think that beard mandates are actually something that I can support. So
I mean, I would support a beard mandate over certain other mandates, but let's back away for a moment and continue, because I think you're on a good point and I'd like to add to it.
Oh, that's right. So here, like, the awards show is not for me. It's not for you. It's not for a large swath of America. And a large swath of America knew that probably over a decade ago, if not more. But it's only becoming more tightened, the subculture that awards show is for. And what's funny is that awards show, all of them, they end up getting eaten up and attacked and pressured by the very subculture that they're trying to please oftentimes, which is these insatiable, insufferable, upper middle class, left-leaning people, in urban cities, like, which are, perpetually disgruntled.
So in the 70s at some point, and this gets to what you're saying about how it's not for a wide-ranging audience, but it gets more to this sense of there's all this grandstanding and this message of, look, we're on the side of something. I'm not even sure I can understand what it is. And then, so Marlon Brando back in the 70s, I think went to the Academy Awards. This could be fake news. Or maybe it's the other award show that I forgot. He went there and he had a big thing with Native American rights. Mm-hmm. And he did some sort of speech. It was kind of political, and it was,
I thought
hey,
it was
look.
The activist, like there was a Native American activist, Littlefoot, maybe was her name, that she
Sounds
went
right.
up. Yeah, if I get it wrong, it's incredibly racist. So, like, you either get it really right or you are a racist.
It's not Bigfoot. I mean, that would be even more egregious.
Closer, yeah. So she went up to receive his award and gave a speech. That's what it was.
Good.
We're probably talking about that.
Thank you for fact-checking me, Yahoo News. Anyway, so the point is that, though, I think that a lot of people pushed back against him back then.
They
and were like, hey, you shouldn't be doing this. So there, at that point, something you may kind of ascribe to the left, broadly, even though I don't think that's entirely fair, but to say, rights of indigenous people at that time, it was the establishment within Hollywood itself and that kind of the people around it who were making it a little bit risky for Brando to do something like that, right?
Absolutely.
There's no sense of any risk now at all. So you get Sean Penn. So I'm upset. I'm upset because I don't even want to know this. But I know that Sean Penn said he was going to melt his trophies down if the president of Ukraine wasn't allowed to speak during the Academy Awards.
I didn't know that was real. I thought you had sent me a joke when you said that.
Maybe it is.
I thought you wrote that as a skit.
No. You need to check. But I think that's actually real, unless I got psy-oped by like a satire site. I think that he said that. Yeah, we need to check this. This is real-time fact-checking. You'll have a job with the mainstream media soon enough. If you do some real-time fact check. I'll keep talking so that it doesn't edit over to you looking in a
please
posture
don't edit me
such
in.
as that. I
Doing
won't.
That posture. Sean Penn vows to melt his Oscar if Academy doesn't invite Zelensky. This is, whatever. It's
That's
MSN.
real, right?
MSN isn't known for satire, not yet. So Sean Penn vows to melt down one of his Oscars if the Motion Picture Academy doesn't work.
Number one.
This was literally a Tim Dillon joke. Like, he did this as a bit a while ago, being like, the celebrities are going to try to get Zelensky to speak as like activism.
Well, I think he said this for a while, so he knew. But beyond that, let's set that aside for a second. The fact that, number one, this is what is I don't understand, because forget about the politics and the Ukraine and all that stuff for a second. Why does that man think that anyone in America or anywhere on the surface of the earth cares what he does with his trophy. That's weird. That's like something a 12-year-old kid would do. Like he would get first place in track and he would have a trophy and he'd get mad at his parents and he'd be like, I'm going to throw my trophy away because I'm a rebel, mom and dad. And it's like, but this is an adult. Hey, you know what?
Bad. It's so
he
out
feels
of touch.
strongly about it. That's fine. Okay. But like, how about you stake something?
I mean,
how about you put something up to stake besides a trophy that you won? How about you stake something critical?
Yeah.
If it's really that important to you.
I mean,
like, what is he going to do? Film him melting his trophy? Change himself into a tree? Sean Penn changes himself into a tree and protests.
Magic. Summon the demons from the core of the earth and set them upon your enemies or shut up. Like, that's it. No, like, you know, back in the day, the activists would like chain themselves to trees and shit, you know?
Maybe that does. Maybe melting God's spear, the Oscar, sets into place some sort of magical rite.
Yeah.
So, you know, okay. So this has been a great episode on the Oscars.
Oh, God.
It's dispiriting, isn't it? Like, I see, normally you're much more like high energy and I'm more kind of like, we're the podcast. Yeah. But I see that it's broken your spirit and it's broken the spirit of a nation. I would like to say that I think that it's either the 93rd or 94th Academy Awards.
Who cares? If they're going to start censoring us, they might, let's censor the Academy Awards. Can we start to censor?
I think they've self-censored themselves by no one's paying attention.
That's true.
Is it fair to say that the Academy Awards has broken the spirit of the American people?
Yeah, for like decades now. I mean, the things that we've had to endure, and now you have to watch Chris Rock get punched. That's what it is now. Like, how much more can we take? Like, it's enough that Amy Schumer is asked to speak at the Academy. I mean, can you let us? We get out of the pandemic, and this is what we have to deal with.
Chris Rock is kind of all right too. Like, I don't know a lot of his material, but he's not a bad man. I don't think you ought to be slapping Chris Rock. That's not nice at all. But anyway, and I don't want to watch that, and I don't want to talk about it. I think it's wrong. But
violence is wrong. This is where we are
it's very
as a
low
society
level, now. but it's very low level violence. Low level violence at award ceremonies. It's okay.
I think they should fight, though. Like, I think they should get on the stage. What if they just did, like, what if instead of the presenter shit, like, we're going to talk about the latest politics, shut up. I want to see action, action, action. I want to see the hosts go up on the stage, and each time they present a new award, 2 different hosts have to duel live.
But think about it. We may be heading, okay, I know this sounds insane. But work with me for a second. So if it's true what I'm saying, and again, I don't even want to use myself as an example because I understand I read biographies of Stalin at 5 a.m. and I lay on the floor. I'm fucked. I understand that. You're not so much, and people listening to this are probably a mix. But if it's true that the center of cultural production for our country, and not just the country, but like a lot of the world,
yeah.
If that's disconnecting so much, see, it's not just the awards ceremony because you could overlook that if they made a bunch of movies. Like, I wouldn't care if there were 5 movies that were great that I was like, man, we have to get this out and do this for the Silver Eye Society podcast. Mm-hmm. But I don't get that. And I get this award show that is a joke, and I know that people bitch on and on about this stuff, but it is really, like, how far does this go? If in 10 years, there's this disconnection, you're distracting me because you keep looking at this dog, I guess, on the floor. What is going on? Can I not go on my rant about the Oscars?
He's how the fuck am I gonna upset about this conversation. He's looking at me like he's going to be ill, which is fine.
He's concerned about the death of the American dream.
He is very concerned.
Hollywood creates our dreams. Our dreams aren't even nightmares anymore. They're just boring.
That's right.
So
that's sad. What do we have to dream now? We have nothing to fear and nothing to dream for.
I think we have a lot to fear, frankly.
Fair
but
enough.
That's another episode. Anyway, I guess okay, I can't carry this episode on my own shoulders. So
I've been, yes, dispirited by the awards show. It's just like I was kind of excited for a second because there's an emergency up in this house right now. So the dog has indeed become ill. So,
I'll just go ahead and talk while you deal with that. How about that? And then we'll close it out. And I'll close it out if we need to.
Let's close it out right now because our Oscars.
This is how it all ends. This is the end of the American dream. We can't even do a podcast, an enraged podcast about the Oscars anymore because animals are just vomiting everywhere.
Yeah.
And, this is it.
This Oscars episode made the dog sick. And we have to end.
All right, very good. Well, thank you for joining the Silver Eye Society. And if you like this video, feel free to press that like button down there at the bottom right of the video and hit subscribe. And you can join our Patreon. I'm doing your bit.
Do it.
And you can join our Patreon at patreon.com Silver Eye Society until we're probably kicked off of that too. So see you next week. Is that what you usually say? You like do something? See you later.
I just say bye.
Oh, bye.